We begin with a clinical observation that should terrify you. The Stanford prison experiment is not a cautionary tale. It is a field manual. It proved that given arbitrary power and a uniform, a college student becomes a sadist in under 48 hours. The Robbers Cave experiment, a summer camp for children, engineered intergroup hatred in 3 days flat, simply by creating us and them. These were not academic exercises in human nature. They were the beta tests. They were the foundational blueprints for a system of control so vast, it has become invisible. Today, that laboratory is no longer a university basement. It is the 6-inch screen in your pocket, the glowing monitor on your desk. This is the new Stanford prison, but the roles of prisoner and guard are assigned 1,000 times per day. Every scroll is a calculated stimulus designed for a specific response. The outrage you feel at a headline floods your system with cortisol, making you anxious and reactive. The like you receive from your digital tribe releases a hit of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, cementing your loyalty not to people, but to an algorithmically defined group. This is a perpetual, global experiment in behavioral modification, and you are its primary subject. The question is not whether you are being manipulated. That is a settled fact. The question is, who holds the patent on your soul? To understand the mechanism, you must first accept a brutal biological truth. Your brain is a relic. It is an ancient piece of survival hardware running dangerously outdated software. Consider the spectacle of professional sports. A Bayern Munich fan does not dislike a Borussia Dortmund supporter based on a rational critique of their life choices. It is a manufactured chemical hatred. fMRI scans provide the terrifying proof. When a dedicated supporter watches their team score, their brain is bathed in dopamine and oxytocin, the same neurochemicals involved in love and reward. When the opposition threatens, the amygdala, the brain's fear center, ignites. It triggers a cascade of adrenaline and cortisol, the fight-or-flight response. This is not an intellectual exercise. It is tribal warfare simulated in a stadium. Now, apply this to politics. Neurological studies show that when a person is confronted with political arguments that contradict their core beliefs, the brain regions that activate are the same ones that process physical threats and identity assault. Your amygdala hijacks your prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic, reason, and critical thought. You are, in that moment, neurologically incapable of rational debate. Evolution designed this response to protect our ancestors from a rival tribe with spears. Today, it is exploited to make you controllable. The architects of modern propaganda do not argue with your logic. They bypass it entirely. They speak directly to your amygdala, manipulating your neurochemistry to make you love your tribe and despise theirs with a primal, unthinking ferocity. Social media is not a town square. It is a Skinner box. The platforms you use daily are masterpieces of neurochemical engineering, built upon a principle called intermittent reinforcement. This is the same mechanism that makes slot machines so violently addictive. You pull the lever, or in this case, you refresh the feed, never knowing if you will get a reward, a notification, a like. That uncertainty maximizes dopamine release when a reward does arrive, compelling you to repeat the behavior endlessly. This is not by accident. It is by design. Your cognitive biases are weaponized against you. Confirmation bias, the tendency to favor information that confirms your existing beliefs, is supercharged with serotonin. Each article that proves you are right delivers a pleasant, stabilizing chemical reward. It feels good to be right. Conversely, exposure to dissenting views is carefully managed to trigger cortisol production. This is the stress hormone. In small doses, it focuses attention, but chronic exposure, the kind you get from constant low-grade online conflict, induces a state of anxiety and learned helplessness. It makes you more compliant, less creative, and less likely to engage in the difficult work of critical thinking. Your mirror neurons, the biological basis for empathy, are also turned against you. When you see a video of someone expressing rage or panic, your brain automatically mirrors that emotional state. Mass hysteria is not a medieval phenomenon. It is a neurological cascade. And modern communication technology allows it to be triggered on a global scale instantly. They are not selling you a product. They are selling you a chemically induced state of mind. If you believe this is conjecture, you have not been paying attention. The evidence is not buried, It is documented, declassified, and ignored. We have the memos. We have the files. Operation Mockingbird, a CIA campaign to infiltrate and influence domestic and foreign media. COINTELPRO, the FBI's secret program to discredit and neutralize political dissidents, from civil rights leaders to anti-war activists, by creating internal conflict and paranoia. They did not just fight the opposition, they created their own. Consider the Soviet trust operation of the 1922nd, a masterstroke of intelligence where the state security apparatus created a fake anti-Bolshevik resistance movement. They controlled it for nearly a decade, identifying and eliminating genuine dissidents who tried to join. It is the ultimate form of control. Run the rebellion yourself. This model was not retired. It was privatized and scaled. Today, look at the flow of capital. George Soros, the bogeyman of the right, and the Koch brothers, the demons of the left. Follow the money from their foundations. You will find it converging in the portfolios of the same handful of asset management behemoths. BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. These are not companies. They are financial states. They are the largest shareholders in nearly every major corporation on earth, from Fox News to the New York Times. They fund opposing think tanks, opposing political candidates, opposing movements. Why? Because the most stable form of power is not to win the game, but to own the entire casino. Politics is not a battle of ideas. It is professional wrestling for intellectuals. The theatrics are spectacular. The emotions are genuine, but the outcome is predetermined by the promoters. The left versus right paradigm is the most successful control mechanism ever devised. It is a masterpiece of market segmentation. For every psychological profile, there is a custom-tailored ideology waiting. Are you rebellious and anti-authoritarian? Here is a brand of anarcho-capitalism or revolutionary socialism. Are you traditional and orderly? Here is a platform of conservative family values. Are you cerebral and detached? We have a cool, logical libertarianism just for you. Your identity is a consumer demographic. Psychographic profiling, fueled by the data you bleed every second online, allows the system to build a political container that feels like home. It is designed to resonate with your deepest psychological needs. The dopamine rush of an election victory for your side is a powerful reward, reinforcing your engagement with the system. The cortisol spike of a loss keeps you angry, fearful, and most importantly, reactive. A reactive population is a manageable population. It seeks simple answers and strong leaders. It does not engage in long-term, strategic thinking. The ultimate prison is not one with walls and bars. It is one where the prisoners believe they are free, where they fight passionately to defend the integrity of their own cell block, and where they despise the prisoners in the next block over, never realizing the entire facility is owned by the same warden. The masters do not care if the blue team or the red team wins the match. They own both teams, the stadium and the broadcast rights. Beyond the theater of politics lies a deeper, more fundamental layer of control, the economic matrix. You believe you earn money and own assets, but you are merely a user with conditional access rights. The very currency you use is a tool of control. Inflation, presented as a natural economic phenomenon, is in fact a silent, inescapable tax on your time and energy, systematically transferring wealth from the wage earner to the asset owner, the very entities who control the creation of currency itself. Central banks, portrayed as steadying hands of the economy, are the high priests of this system, capable of creating booms and busts at will, concentrating power with every crisis they engineer. Your property, your investments, your savings, they exist as digital entries on ledgers controlled by institutions you do not understand. This is the prelude to the final endgame: central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Marketed as a leap forward in convenience and efficiency, they are, in reality, the ultimate tool of programmable control. A CBDC means every single transaction you make is monitored, logged, and analyzed in real time. It means your money can be given an expiration date to force spending. It can be restricted from being used on goods or services deemed undesirable by the state. Tied to a social credit system, your ability to participate in the economy could be throttled based on your political opinions or even your online associations. It is the monetization of compliance. Forget the illusion of choice. This is the construction of an invisible economic cage where your very survival is contingent on your absolute obedience. Recognizing the cage is the first step. Escaping it is the only task that matters. This is not a battle you win with protests or politics. That is their game, played on their turf. This is an insurgency of the mind, a declaration of cognitive sovereignty. First, you must practice radical information hygiene. Starve the algorithm. Stop consuming rage bait and emotionally manipulative content. Your outrage is a resource they mine. Replace it with primary sources. Read the scientific study, not the journalist's summary. Read the historical document, not the pundit's interpretation. Second, you must apply the Socratic method to yourself, relentlessly. Why do you believe what you believe? Did you reason your way to this conclusion, or was it emotionally installed? Question your most cherished beliefs with the same ferocity you apply to your opponents. Third, build real-world, local networks. Cultivate relationships with people in your physical vicinity. A community that can grow food, share skills, and support each other is immune to digital manipulation and supply chain coercion. Real trust is built through shared work and mutual respect, not shared hashtags. Fourth, develop practical, sovereign skills. Learn to fix things, to build things, to grow things. A person who is less dependent on complex, fragile systems is less controllable. Finally, and most critically, you must train your own mind. Practice mindfulness and meditation not as a wellness trend, but as a tactical defense system. Learn to observe your emotions as they arise without being hijacked by them. Recognize the feeling of an amygdala response. See the anger, the fear, the righteousness for the chemical reactions they are. This is how you sever the strings. You do not break them. You simply let them go. You build an inner world so robust and sovereign that the noise of the outer world becomes irrelevant. You become the experimenter, not the subject.